Miriam, welcome to the Green Ginger Club. It's now 6 decades, plus a bit, that you've been touring and performing on the UK folk scene. Mm-hmm. Tell us a bit how you started and why you've kept going.
I started singing almost when I was born. I've been singing all my life. My grandmothers used to sing to us when we were little, especially my father's mother. She loved singing. She used to sing things like, "My mother said I never should play with the gypsies in the wood. If I did, she would say, what a naughty little girl to disobey." You remember those, hey, those old granny songs, yes. She said mildly. And then there was another one that she used to sing, "If I were a blackbird, I'd whistle and sing." Remember that one?
"And fly o'er the vessel my true love sails in."
I know.
Clarty Pants.
One of my father's favourite songs.
So from an early age, I started with music. I started playing the recorder when I was 5. Now, I don't know if you remember when we were little in England. I was born in Lewes in Sussex, and I went to a school called Wallens Primary School, and we used to file into the school hall and watch the wireless.
Yeah, we've all sat in school halls and listened to the wireless.
One of the programs we used to watch was called Singing Together.
Oh.
It is a program that was designed to give English folk song back to the English children. And I absolutely loved it. I mean, the songs, I still open every single gig of my life with "Early one morning, just as the sun was rising, I heard a maid sing in the valley below." And everybody knows it. And everybody says that, oh, it's a children's song. No, it's not a children's song. It was actually collected by somebody, written down by somebody. And that tradition is what we wanted to continue.
Oh, do you see on high hills, all covered with snow, they have parted many's a true love, and they'll soon part us too. Bask, bask, bonny lassie, aye, and come awa' wi' me, and I'll tak' ye to Glen Isla, near bonny Glen Shee. And do you see yon shepherd as he goes along, wi' his plaidie buckled round him, while his sheep grazes on? Bask, bask, bonny lassie, aye, and come awa' wi' me, and I'll tak' ye to Glen Isla, near bonny Glen Shee. And do you see yon soldiers as they march along, with their muskets o'er their shoulders, and their broadswords hanging down? Bask, bask, bonny lassie, aye, and come awa' wi' me, and and I'll tacky take Glen Isla near bonny Glen Shee.
Miriam, how do you keep your voice so pure?
I practice every morning. I have a little regime. I get up at 8 o'clock every day and I sing to the clouds. And it's an esoteric thing that I found has worked during this lockdown. I bring the love in from all the outside. I bring it into my body. And then as I'm singing, I send my love into the clouds so that when they drop on wherever they drop, that love goes with them. And I do this little regimen for 20 minutes every morning. And also I have you heard of Eve Boswell?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Now, Eve Boswell was trained by her aunt, Keleti, who was the vocal trainer at Budapest Conservatoire in the 30s. And Eve was trained by her as a classical singer, and I then was trained by her in the classical way. So my vowel structure is the same as Joan Sutherland or Pavarotti. So that all those vowels are classically placed. But when I'm singing folk songs, I don't go, early one morning, just as the sun was rising. You know, you don't.
You could do if you wanted.
Has your voice come down in the keys?
No.
Gosh.
No.
Congratulations.
No, thank you very much. It's been hard work, and I won't pretend that it's all been natural, but I want to keep it, Louis. I really do. I desperately want to keep my voice optimum, and if it means I've got to practice every day for the rest of my life, I'd like to do that.
You obviously started off as a traditional singer, Viv. When did the songwriting start?
I only started writing music when I came to South Africa, and it was really by default, because wherever the British have spread into the diaspora, they've taken their folk songs with them. And I did a show at our Grahamstown Festival, which is like an arts festival here, like you have Edinburgh Festival. And I wanted to find some folk songs that had been brought across. And I couldn't find any. So I wrote some.
Yeah.
Well, a traditional folk song I wrote just last week.
I was going up to I was returning from a gig in Petersburg to Johannesburg, and the sun was setting, and that became Over Africa.
There's nothing quite as lonesome as the sun going down over Africa. Flying in a piper with the sun going down over Africa. Slowly, oh so slowly, see it sinking. A ball of fire in the cool grey sky, see it sinking. Now an orange halo encircles the earth over Africa. A halo of color encircles the earth over Africa. Slowly, oh so slowly, see it fading, leaving the cool grey sky, see it fading. See the stars gently coming out over Africa. High in the heavens, the stars coming out over sun going down over Africa. Flying in a piper with the sun going down over Africa.
That's a beautiful song. Beautiful song.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's one of the most requested on my travels, and the harmonies. Oh my God, the harmonies people come up with for that over Africa thing. I go goosebumps just thinking about it now. Yes, so the songwriting came by default rather than by design. I never set out to be a songwriter because I thought there's so many good songs out there. Why must I write a bad one?
You can click sing, a la Miriam Backhouse, which I was somewhat fascinated by. How on earth did you learn it?
I was up in a studio doing some recordings up in Johannesburg when I did the Over Africa in 2006, and there was a Sotho lady there, and she wrote it out for me phonetically.
How do you write click?
And you do it phonetically, Louis.
There's so many clicks. I mean, there's a and just with your teeth. So, but the Bushmen, they take the biscuit with their clicks. Yeah, but I only had to learn one for the click song, so that was fine.
One of the first folk songs I ever learned, the week before Easter. The week before Easter, day being fair, I went to the forest to take off the air. I went to the forest some flowers to find,
maybe by now she's forgotten.
You are the same age as most of us, and actually this is probably the same age exactly as me. What do you think is the advice you can give to us about a career arc? And I'll give you an example. Tom Paxton, when we first saw him, Cecil Sharp House, 200 people. The next time I see him, Festival Hall, Albert Hall, 2,000 people. The last time I saw him, Eddie's Attic here in Atlanta, 200 people. How do you come to terms with that?
I came across this exact phenomena about 10 years ago when I first started to go back to England. And the audiences in the folk clubs, the average audience when I sing in an English folk club is 18. And I remember talking to a young, yes, I mean, you can have 200, but you might have 5 or 10, you know, that's the way it goes. So all up and down where I travel, I might be singing to 300, I might be singing to 10, but the average, if I average it out, is between 18 and 20 over the whole thing. Okay. So I was talking to a friend of mine about this, Steve Newman. I don't know if you heard him, a brilliant guitarist from South Africa. And he said, Mim, you will be singing to people who you resonate with. And that was such a powerful thing to say, that we now are singing to people with whom we resonate. Our whole being has got a certain content that we've shared over all these years. And dare I say, we are a dwindling bunch.
Are we aware of who we are and how they view us? Because I remember how we used to view older singers when we were young. And the other question I wanted to know, because I think you've done a great job at it, is how do you brand yourself and how do you market yourself?
Louis, I'm just me. I have never thought of marketing as, in fact, it's my worst. That's why I'm not rich and famous. That's why I've never been a Joan Baez or Julie Felix. I've never had a team and a manager and things, and I am the world's worst. All I have to offer is me. I can offer the fact that I can sing, I can play the guitar, and I can entertain, and that Louis is it.
So
I have no
skills. How did they describe you on a billing?
Queen of Folk.
Oh, the First Lady of Folk. Thank you.
That's it. Yes, absolutely.
And that
Worthy
that
of it
was
too.
that was, oh, bless your heart, thank you. That name was given to me by the Mayor of Cambridge at Cambridge Folk Festival.
We were probably at a Cambridge Folk Festival at the same time. When did we do? We did 2 or 3 years.
We did the second folk festival.
70, 71, 72, and maybe 73 we were at Cambridge. But
Oh, wow. Now, I only started my folk singing career in 1973. I did my first gig. Oh, I can't remember. I think it was Croydon for 12 quid.
Oh, big money for them.
I was going to say, yeah, from
that
Croydon.
Was that Derek Sargent at Croydon?
Well, that name rings a bell. Oh, my goodness, that rings a bell.
And he had a beautiful girl with him. It was Derek Sargent and Hazel. Derek Sargent and Hazel.
My goodness, Louis, fancy you remembering that. I can remember Dave and Ruth Cooper at Catford. Dave and Ruth Cooper at Catford. They're both unfortunately deceased now. Oh my goodness, they've opened up a whole can of worms there. Wow.
So who were the people who you saw when you first started where you thought, that is great?
Let me see. The Furies, when they were just Finbar and Eddie. Barbara Dixon, of course. Harvey Andrews, Rose, Tony Rose, Dave Burland. I can't name another female because there really wasn't one. I think
Maddie
I was
Pryor?
impressed. Yeah. I didn't see her because she was a big un, and I was just at. I never saw her. They never came to Halifax Folk Club or things like that. 'Cause they were already quite big by that time, so they weren't doing smaller venues. I never actually saw Maddie perform, but she and I did one song together at Cleckheaton Folk Festival a few years ago. I found that we were on the same bill, and I got in touch and I said, Maddie, let's do My Johnny Was a Shoemaker together. So in the middle of her set, she said, Mim's coming up, and we did My Johnny Was a Shoemaker and brought the house down.
Yay!
That sounds like it would have done too.
So yes, they obviously Maddie, Steel Eye, Fairport, Sandy Denny. Oh my goodness, what a tragic story! But what a piece. And the girl that's still going, Jackie McShay.
Yeah, Jackie Machine. Yeah.
Yes. I tell you what happened, Louis, because I was then by 1973, I was on the road. I never saw anybody else. You'd go to a folk club and Rosie Hardman. You'd see a bill and there would be Rosie, Harvey, Dave Burland, the Furies, Miriam Backhouse, but we never actually saw each other because we were all following each other around on the circuit. We'd maybe meet up at folk festivals. My mentor and the man who did me most favors was Alex Campbell. Do you remember Alex?
Yes.
Yes.
We had a singer we used to play with occasionally called Fiona Stewart, and
oh yes,
Alex, she was friendly with Alex. We didn't know him and we didn't sort of circulate in the same way, but Fiona I played bass for. Louis, you sat in with Fiona a few times as well.
Also, Alex Campbell, I remember playing at the Cambridge Folk Festival, and I was sitting there with my then girlfriend, Sue, and the time was getting late, and we decided that we would go to our little tent. And we got up to leave, and Alex Campbell said, "Stop!" And his band stopped. And he said, aye, look what's going to happen now. And we had to get out of the tent. Silence. Terrible.
That's Alex. Oh, he was fabulous. There were so many times when I was working with him, he would just sit on the stage. He would say, melodies for a lark, and he would sit on the stage and people would come towards the stage and sit round him like an old-fashioned storyteller. He just had that vibe about him, and he'd Miriam, yes, Miriam. I love him.
You mentioned Steel Eye and Fairport. When that revolution broke, what was your view as a more traditional English folk singer? How did you take that kind of music?
I think it was of its time, John. I think it had to happen. I think it, once Dylan picked up that Fender, that was it. I think we had to move with the times. I think if we just tried to stay, I was lucky. I was able still to stay with my Martin. I miss it. It's in Scotland being fixed at the moment. I was lucky to be able to stay true to what I was doing. But I think what the five-piece bands did was they gave folk music a wider audience so that people could decide whether they liked folk music or not. It suddenly became another genre within the framework of the music industry. And I think they opened up a lot of doors that would otherwise have been closed to our genre. Yeah.
It was a dead end, though, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think so.
I think if you think the fact it got to number one, if All Around My Hat got to number one, but all genres rise and fall. Rock rose and fell. Folk rose and fell, and it continues to happen. No music sustains all the time or sustains its position. There are some amazing graphs that you can get now that show over time how different genres of music expand. But one of the ones that is one of the biggest now is country music, which is just another version of folk to me. But it's,
do you know when I was 18, I played the auto harp, the fiddle, and a guitar in an old-time country music band. Oh, what were we called? The Original Preservation String Band or something. And we used to sing all the new Lost City Ramblers songs and the Skillet Lickers and
Skillet Lickers, I love it.
I saw the New Lost City Ramblers play at the Herger Folk Club, and it was the most. It was a real breakthrough. It was a real breakthrough, and I think that's where Richard started to play the auto harp.
I actually played the auto harp, Gold Watch and Chain, for the BBC, for that Alistair Cook America series we did, the background music.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, one of the songs that I sent John is me playing Wildwood Flower on the auto harp.
Oh, he taught me to love him, called me his flower, that was blooming to cheer him through life's dreary hour. How I long to see him and regret the dark hour. He's gone and neglected his pale wildwood flower.
Been a totally brilliant session, absolutely brilliant. Well,
I've
she
loved
is.
it. I've loved being with you. You are charming gentlemen, and I've thoroughly enjoyed being in your company.
I would just like John, for once on these recordings, to say an official goodbye, because we've never had that, John, and I've had
Mim,
people.
thank you so much for today. We've really enjoyed it. And just remember, if you've enjoyed yourself half as much as we have, we've enjoyed ourselves twice as much as you. That's for stitching me up, Robinson. All right.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Mim.
Thanks, Ben.
Bye-bye.